So today we're going to be looking at lesson 7, which is revisiting percentages. So our target today is if A% of B is C, we are going to be trying to find A or B by writing equations of the form of Px equals Q. In this instance, a lot of the times the A% or the percentage is going to go in the place of Q, and then the B is going to be what we're going to be trying to find, while Q is what C is. So we could also write that equation as AB equals C. Just want to recap, a percentage is a percent of a fraction out, or a percent out of 100. So again, a percentage is a number out of 100. What I like to start looking at is at 7.2. 7.2 is going to be representing, oh gosh guys, I'm writing a lot slower than I want to talk, representing our percentage problem with an equation. Sorry guys. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at two problems. Each problem is going to be asking, is a percentage out of a number equal to 87? And we're going to do some math to figure that out. So, is 60% of 400 equal to 87? What we're going to be doing is we're going to be saying, is 60% times 400 equal to 87? I'm going to already tell you the answer is no, but let's work together to try and figure out why the answer is no. So I somewhat messed up, guys, when I was making this screen grab, and I decided to do a ratio table of showing that when it's 100%, that is a total of 400, and not really going off that equation. So if you need some extra help off of that, how to do the equation, my suggestion is to go closer to the end of the video where it says summary, and I work a little bit more on that later. So percent, we got 100%, which is equal to 400. What we're going to do first is we're going to divide that both sides by 10, getting us down to 10%, which is where we figure that 10% is 40. And then we're going to multiply both sides by 6 to get from 10% to 60%, and then 40 times 6 is equal to 240. So our answer for this problem is no. 60% of 400 is equal to 240. Just looking ahead, we are going to be working on one more problem in 7.3 or 7.2. So instead of looking at 400, we're going to be looking at 200. So if you can write that in the equation that I did not do in the first half of this video, it is going to be 60% times 200, and then we're trying to figure out, does that actually equal 87? And if you've done your math already, or if you can already recognize that 200 is half of 400, you probably already know the answer to that question is no. 60% of 200 does not equal 87 because it actually does equal 120. But we'll just work on through this. Let's see if I can Hey guys, I accidentally stopped recording myself at the end of that little last bit. So I decided just to fast forward over to 7.3, which is we're going to be revisiting some puppies' weight. We worked on this in, I believe, Unit 2, which was all about ratios. So we are going to be just solving one problem in here. And so we have puppy A weighs 8 pounds right now, and that is 25% of its adult weight. As you can see, told you, my user apparently circles on this program. So puppy A weighs 8 pounds, and those 8 pounds is 25% of its adult weight. So how much will a puppy weigh when it's full grown? That's what we need to try and figure out. So this time I did an equation. Is the equation similar to what we were doing prior up above or at the end of this lesson? Somewhat not, but it just makes sense in my head the way that I did it. If it doesn't with you, let me know. I'll try and maybe put another video out there where I'm working on it in a different aspect. So, again, puppy A weighs 8 pounds, which is 25% of its adult weight. What is 100% of its weight? Probably already know this, but 25% goes into 100% 4 times. So, essentially, all we need to do is 8 times 4, which would be equal to 32. So, that's telling us that the adult weight of this dog will be 32 pounds. If we were to do this with the formula that px equals q, what we'd be doing is we'd be doing 25% times x would then be equal to 8. So knowing that we already have that total and we're multiplying it by 25%, that's where we'd say, okay, so 25% of 32 is 8. So then we divide out of each side 25%, which essentially is going to say, okay, 8 divided by 25% or 0.25 will give us our answer of 32. Again, if this is not helpful, let me know. I'm sorry, guys. Trying my best here. Again, all this fun business is not really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording right here, and when you hear my voice next, it's going to be at the summary section where I'm actually going to be going over what that equation looks like for you guys. Welcome to part 3 of this video. Just kidding, it's not really part 3, this is just me messing up. So in summary, what I want you to know when we were looking at this revisited percentages, the px equals q formula works. This is where we're going to be looking at as a is p, b is x, and q is c. What we're going to be doing is we're just going to do a quick example problem of this. So at a high school, 70% of its population, student population is there at one day. That 70% is 455 kids. So how many total kids are enrolled at that school? And that's what we were trying to figure out. So in the problem, what we're going to be doing is we're going to input 70% where that p is, or 0.7. And then we're going to put that 455 students in the spot where the q is. So now our equation looks like 0.7x equals 455. Another way to say that is, I guess, 70% of x is equal to 455. Okay? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to isolate the x on both sides by saying, okay, so What's the opposite of multiplication? If you said division, you are right. So we're going to divide on both sides 0.7. When we divide on the left side 0.7, we're going to just leave the x there. On our right side, when we divide 455 by 0.7, we now have a new equation, which then we have to figure out and solve, which is 455 divided by 0.7, which is going to be equal to x, which is going to tell us what our x is. Before it's written up, because apparently I decided to get funky and change up my colors whenever I'm writing here. What I want you to know when you're seeing me do some long division in solving this problem, I multiplied both 455 and 0.7 by 10 to get rid of my decimal, which essentially gives me 4,550 divided by 0.7. And I'm going to go ahead and just take a quick breather and let my video catch up to where I am now. Sorry guys, a little tired. Okay, so getting ready to write out 4,550 divided by 7. If we just count by 7, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, we know that we can't go all the way up to 45, so 7 goes into 45 6 times. 45 minus 42 is equal to 3, bringing down the 5, that is in our tens place. That makes it 35 now. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. That is 5. So we put a 5 right next to that 6. 35 minus 35 is equal to 0. And then we bring down that last 0. And we can't put 7 into that 0. So our new answer is now going to be 650. If we replace that 650 by the 0.7, and we were to do 70% of 650, we would find out that that is equal to 455. Sorry again for this video being so long, guys. Shoot me a message if you need any help today at 2. Miss Murray and I are going to be live on Zoom. Please be looking for Teams for the meeting ID in the password, or for us saying, hey, we're on. Yeah. Take care. Bye.